Hello. It's not Tuesday.
It is not.
No, it is not. It is Wednesday, and today is our first digital dealer exclusive. That's a mouthful. Or DDE.
DDE. Way easier. We're going to acronym the crap out of that.
Yes, we are. And today's project is the first one. There are 13 projects coming up in the year, and this is perfect for Easter.
Yes.
The nice thing about doing ours at the end of the month is that I've been able to see some of the really cute
some of other people's
the stuff that they've been
imagination
sort of reimagining.
and uses and what some people have come up with. So what have you seen?
So I saw someone put it in like an Easter basket, and she used it for the lid of her jar. So
like a mason jar kind of thing?
Like a mason jar, yeah. It was really very, very cute idea.
And that would be perfect.
It would. And she had put like little grass in the jar and then, put like some Easter stuff
candies
in there and candies.
There.
Yeah. So I did see a bunch of people doing some really cute stuff. That was my favorite. I saw a couple people I saw somebody put it on a mug rug, and which I thought was really cute. They didn't chenille the ears. They just kind of did the ear as like an applique piece without the multiple layers.
Well, I think it would be really simple, and we haven't got one done yet, but I do have an ear. So with the ear, you could fold it and tack it down so it's not flapping around and getting in the way. You could put it down so that it's not in the way. I love that it's floppy, but depending upon what you're doing with it, you could simply put that little button, tack down stitch that's we use for so many things. And tack that little bit down so that it does stay in place instead of flop around.
Absolutely.
And put it in some other places, but lots of fun things. I think that a mason jar Easter basket would be adorable.
Yeah.
And just filling little bits. So rather than, a big, huge thing, what a fun little thing. You could send those to people, if rather can't send an Easter basket.
No, but you could send an Easter jar.
You could send an Easter jar. So how much fun would that be?
I know, right? I'm sad it wasn't my idea. But thanks to whoever it was.
We can embellish all of that.
That's right. So it was definitely really cute. And there are a bunch of different, like they have wide mouth jars and stuff like that I think it would be perfect. I mean, not much different than the little bamboo hoops anyways.
No, about the same size.
Yeah,
so yeah, absolutely fit very, very well. Very nice idea. Whoever you are out there, thumbs up, man.
Could you put pipe cleaner in after turning and be able to fold down? Probably.
Yep. You got this there opening. So pipe cleaner would fit. Jewelry wire would maybe be a little bit easier. I don't know, pipe cleaner wouldn't be bad, but that fuzzy would maybe be a little harder with your salvaged edge, not salvaged, seam allowanced edge in there. Might be a little hard to maneuver.
Yeah.
Where like a jewelry wire or something. But yeah, absolutely. And then, you could have like shaped ears instead. But yeah, you could have a lot of fun with that. Why not? So yeah, great idea, Judy.
So if you haven't already purchased your design, you can do them.
We're evidently in closed caption.
So that's a Facebook thing. So somebody asked about closed captioning. Facebook automatically does closed captioning now for some things, and so I apologize.
It's not your setting. It's not anything we can do.
No, it is just you can turn that feature off, I believe, in your Facebook settings. But we can't do it. we don't have any. Unfortunately, I don't have any control over that. So it just is one of those things, and it comes up sometimes in a weird place, and the words sometimes do not match the words. So I totally apologize.
Like the words that I make up, maybe they don't say.
Yeah. Yes, we have to enunciate better in order for that to work.
So if you are watching on Facebook, just kidding.
Yeah, we're just a bunch of brats, aren't we?
I am definitely in a brat mood today. You can't know. See, now I gotta go higher too. Oh. I just went
Hi.
down. Wrong way. That's better. Oh no, that's too high. That's bad. There we go.
There we go. Okay, yeah.
All right. Yep, I'm good. I think.
Oh,
Maybe.
that was fantastic.
That went totally the wrong.
That was how low it was when you probably sat down on it. So I did Surger Club this morning, and my laptop, I had it propped up between two surge. I had quite the mess over here.
Yeah, I think that's probably the answer though. The computer needs to be like here.
Yeah.
And have everything else around it so that you kind of
can move around. But it was quite funny. So yeah. But I had to put the chair quite a ways down. It was really low. Yeah, otherwise the camera was just here, which
that's just what everybody wants to see, right? A beautiful necklace on today.
Yeah.
I'd like to see what's in my memory locket.
Kathy says she doesn't have closed captioning and she's on Facebook. So yeah, it just is a random thing. Sometimes it's kind of nice because like when I'm in the car looking at Facebook on the way home, I don't have to listen to what it is. I can see a couple of snippets as to whether or not that's an interesting thing that I want to watch. So that's kind of nice.
I'm sure Dave appreciates it sometimes.
You know, he's in drive mode. He has no idea what's going on. So he's in his own lane, literally. Yes, he gets in drive mode and he will just drive by everything. So Sarah GPS is really bad because he'll be like, I know. And I'm like, okay, then why did we pass it? It was like 4 exits ago. I'm going the long way. Oh, okay.
I wanted to see something over here.
It's just a thing.
Yeah.
He does not like
appreciate being told
in the car.
Doesn't like being told where to go, huh?
No, he does not. Imagine that. A guy that doesn't like to be told what he's doing wrong.
I'm going to refrain from commenting.
Okay, so I started to say, if you haven't already purchased the digital dealer exclusives, they are still available.
Absolutely.
So probably we will we'll keep up the full year price maybe one more month, or unless things
probably through February. I think we'll probably be okay. And part of that will depend on how we're doing kit wise in the store too. Because if we can't offer it because we don't have the materials anymore, then that's going to be, well, we're done.
Yes.
So if we still have them and we are able to fulfill the entire year, then we'll see how that goes. But probably at least through February, I think we should be okay. And then we'll reevaluate.
Yep. So if you're still on the fence and thinking about it, or you're getting to this video a little bit later, you will still have that option. But even if we take down the year, we do still have the individual months available. So if there's only 1 month that you wanted, you can certainly go ahead and get that whenever you would like.
Yep.
And you can also reserve a kit for that month. So the kits and the designs are up
on
what
there
we have
for
left.
the individual months as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did do that. We mentioned that we were going to, and we were finally able to do that. Of course, if you already prepaid for your entire year, have no fear. We have your stuff.
We have that. Hayden's been working hard.
Yes, we have been working super hard to get ahead.
Yep. So he's plowing through, and Carolyn's helping, and everybody's pitching in. So we've got kits in random baskets, and there's just partial kits everywhere. It's got a little crazy around here, but so we are working hard to get all of that ready, and we are working on spring showers as well. So that won't be a whole lot longer. We're waiting on a couple fabrics to still come in for that, but kits are working around here. So so the digital dealer exclusives
taking place of
it's taking place of the fill in the blank that was last year. So it's the same concepts, really big picture wise. They are just calling it something a little bit different. So it's not necessarily going to be focusing around a blank. So a lot of them are, but it's not a requirement, quote unquote, to be in this year's designs.
Right.
So as she said, there's going to be a total of 13. So yes, we are aware there's only 12 months. there will be 2 in July. So there'll be a nice bonus in July, and it's actually a cute little Christmas bonus for the July extra thing. So they're super, super cute, actually. They're some of my favorites. I actually don't dislike any.
No,
they're very,
really nice
very well
job.
done. But there's the July bonus is one of mine that I was just like, oh my gosh, that's super cute. But anyway, so today we are going to do an adorable little
it's a bunny. And
3D bunny.
2 hoopings.
It is done in 2 hoopings. So the first thing that we have to do is make his ears. So we have to have the ears first because they're going to pop out of the little bamboo hoops. So we have to have those stitched first.
Hence the 3D part, right?
It's the 3D part, absolutely. So these are going to be chenilled. So if you haven't done that before, you got a little bit of a tutorial here coming up. And there is very, very little that we have to do. It's a pretty simple stitch out. So we're just going to work through those basic steps. So basically we're going to do some applique work and then some trimming and stuff as we go. So first things first, both of these hoopings can be done in a 4x4 hoop. You'll notice that I have a 5x7 hoop in here. That's just so that you guys can see a little bit easier. 4x4 hoops can be a little constraining visually, so it makes it a little bit harder for you guys to see what's happening in the hoop. So it is only so that you guys can see better. 4x4 is more than enough room for you guys to do that, so don't waste your stabilizer. Just do it in a 4x4 hoop. The first thing that's going to stitch is the placement line. And this is going to be for, again, the ears. So there are 2 files, and we want to do the bunny ears first.
And heart salesman. If you purchased your kit from us, you are going to get 2 of the bamboo hoops and enough fabric to complete 2 of these.
Do you want to pop that over here? I'll just show the kit here real quick just so that they can see what's what. So as she said, our kit is going to give you everything that you need. Actually, you're going to get the set of the 2 hoops. So you're going to get actually both, not just the one. So both of the bamboo hoops, and you're going to get the fabrics to make the bunny for both of those hoops, which of course you can save one for something else if you want, but you do have the materials for both. So I'm going to set one piece aside just so that you guys can see what we need to do for one. So you are going to have a bunch of white, and then you'll have 2 green and 1 pink. So the 2 greens are going to be the background for the second hooping. For prep, if you guys are stitching along, you will need to put fusible on the back of one of those pieces of green. And then you can set those colored pieces aside. And you will have a total of 4. If you got our kit, all 4 of your pieces of white are going to be the same size. It's just a lot easier to cut them all the same size than to subcut something down smaller. So you got 4 pieces of the 5x5 white. That 4th piece actually doesn't need to be quite as big. So I cut that down just so that you guys can tell what piece I'm talking about. And that one piece also needs to have fusible backing, and that is going to be for the second hooping. So I'm going to set that fusible backed piece and my green pieces aside. So I have 1 pink and 3 of the white 5x5 that we need to use for this hooping I'm going to be using right now. So of those 3 white, we need to take 1. So again, you have 3 pieces of white.
Actually, 4 pieces of white
that we're going to use for this hooping. And you just need 1 of them right now. This is what I can tell from, I've done lots of classes with chenilling, and this is where people make the mistakes. They put too many pieces down at the wrong time.
Yep.
So only one piece, and these are white on white. So you'll want to hold it up and figure it out which side is the pretty side that goes up. The lights on your machine are generally actually like the best lighting to see on that. So you can see generally really clear underneath the needle. Again, one piece, and we're going to tack that down. We are not going to be trimming. So if you are trying to jump ahead, okay, fine, but don't trim. No trimming.
Nay.
Negatory. All right, so it's going to tack that down.
One ear at a time.
Yeah, well. All right, and I do just have white thread in the machine if anybody is wondering. You probably can't see any thread, so you might have figured that out all on your own. And just a standard embroidery bobbin. You don't need to worry about anything special going on in there. So once that has been tacked down, there is going to be a decorative edge that's going to go right on top of that stitch there. And again, we want that in that white thread. So let's go ahead and stitch that. It's going to be a little over a minute stitch. Just takes a little bit more time. It does just a decorative edge right on top. It makes it pop a little bit more, gives it a nice edge when we go to turn it later on.
We still just have that one piece
Yes,
of
just
material.
one piece of material.
Kimberbell probably tells you to take that fabric down.
Oh, of course I did. I even stopped reading that.
We're
let
rebels.
alone doing it. I didn't even read that I was supposed to do it. The nice thing about this is if you did you're at this point, you're looking at that and you're going, oh, mine is pretty side down. Don't worry about it because you're going to cover like all of that up. You will not notice it later. So don't bother unsewing at this point if you realize that you put the wrong side up or down or whatever you want to call it. It's not going to show enough to matter at this point. The next ones maybe a little bit, but even those, to be honest, aren't going to be like the end all of making a difference. So it certainly makes a smidgen maybe, but not enough to, definitely not enough to get the seam ripper out and grumble. Don't grumble over that one.
Right. If the person that you give it to points that out, don't give them anything else.
Take it back.
You're off the list.
Off the list. Big time.
Just say thank you graciously, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Trying to figure out where I can put my laptop later and make that work. Slide that over. Thinking. I don't know what I'm doing. It hurts to think. All right, so we now have a nice heavy stitch around the outside, and I know the lighting is bright enough that you can't really see that super well. So I need to now cover up that base layer with my other two pieces. So you should have 3 total white pieces left. Do not use all 3.
How many pieces are they going to put now?
2. All right, so 2 pieces, and you want both of those pretty side up. All right, so we're going to take 1, 2 pieces of fabric, and we're going to completely cover up what we have just stitched. On your screen, you're going to just see an outline with some diagonal lines going through that. Mm-hmm. That outline is going to be a basting stitch, or what Kimberbell calls a basting stitch. And then you're going to have diagonal tack down lines. So we're going to go ahead and stitch that.
So if you have our kit, You have one piece of white material left. That white material should have fusible on the back, and it's going to be used for the second hooping. Can you do it from home?
He goes. Yeah, I probably could.
Could skedaddle and set up. At least wouldn't have to be driving that late.
I probably could, but I don't have the camera set up at home, and
Becky, hi from Zeeland, Michigan, formerly of Canton. I don't think I know where Zeeland, Michigan is. I know where Canton is.
Yeah, I don't think I do either. Where is Zealand? Oh, okay,
by
thank
Grand
you.
Rapids. Thank you, Tony.
No, that's good.
Oh, Carolyn.
So this feels like it takes forever. Why does this step always feel like it takes forever?
I don't know. Those darn triple stitches.
But do you know what actually does take forever?
Turning it.
Well, that actually was not as bad as once I got figured out what I was doing, taking out that darn basting stitch that isn't a basting stitch. It would be so much better if it was an actual basting stitch.
Yeah,
I mean, it is a basting stitch.
Would
but
it have helped to change the color for that part of the stitch? No, because I know they doesn't seem like they separated it.
And of course, it does recommend that you tape that fabric down. You guys know I don't do that. So when we get to the part where we add these bunny ears into the next, I will tape that down because that's super important for placement purposes, but only that kind of stuff do I actually, like zippers, and then I use tape. We're going to do that, by the way.
Good thing we have it.
Christmas present.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I need to email. Started doing that and then got distracted. She signed up for club today.
Do you want me to do that for you?
Sure. I started and then I started playing. I mean, working.
Do I need to do anything else besides just forwarding the link?
No, that email that I sent out last night
Had everything.
had everything she needs in it. Isn't this riveting? The sad thing is that we can't really move forward with this until I get all these basting stitches out. So I can't speed this up.
No, you cannot.
Her email cracks me up. All right. So there is only one stitch left at this point, and that is going to tack down our pink. But we've got lots of work that we need to do before we do that. So over here, we have a couple different things that we need to do. First thing is in your instructions, we are on page 6, and we are right up here at the top. So the first thing we need to do is we need to trim off the top two, not the bottom. The top 2 layers, all right? So just the ones that we just put down, all right? So we're going to take up those top layers. We should still be able to see that decorative stitch down here. Let me turn this so I can see what I'm doing here. All right. And where I need to be. So again, we want to be able to see our base layer of white, and you should be able to see that decorative stitch start to show up as we are working around. All right. And you don't really want to trim the basting stitches, but if you do happen to clip one, don't panic, because we are going to be removing them here in just a second. So you want to get right up close to that, trim that right up to that basting stitch, which is why that basting stitch is actually there, is it gives you a trim line. Without that, you wouldn't know where to trim that section off at. I have tried this and like tried to skip that basting stitch. I'm like, oh, well, if I just don't stitch that, it'll be so much easier. And you can do that, but you don't have a line to work with. Once you do that removal, again, we are leaving that original piece of white fabric in place. We are not trimming that. We need to take our favorite tool ever, right? We're going to unsew that basting stitch, and we have to remove that from all the way around. Doesn't matter where you start, and it doesn't really matter if you make a mess on the edges of your white fabric here or not, because the whole point is that we're going to be making a mess. We're going to fuzz up, and that's what that chenilling is going to do. So we just need to get all the way around both of our ears here. And I'm sorry, I know this is just as exciting to watch. What we don't want to remove, so try to keep your seam ripper away from the decorative stitch that's around the outside at the bottom. So try not to get into any of those stitches, because you want those to stay there.
And don't pull it out of your hoop.
And don't pull it out of your hoop. Good point. I haven't done that yet. Have you done that?
Yep.
I was going to say, now why would you say that? Are you speaking from experience?
Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes you think you got a real good hold of that thread and then you tug and you're like, shoot. So sometimes you tug really well, or you have a really long thread and you're like, oh, I can just pull the rest of it out with that. And it doesn't work that way, because they're kind of stuck underneath those stitches.
They really are. And like I said, basting stitches here, they are definitely bigger by far than those triple stitches that are right there next to it. But, and I guess I am absolutely spoiled by the basting stitches that are in the embroidery for the brother, like the adding basting stitch.
Yeah.
But these are just like a third of those.
Yeah. You know, I believe they do that because different brands of machine, you know, when they get to that 5 millimeters,
it thinks it's a jump stitch.
It thinks it's a jump stitch, so it won't actually baste it.
It won't actually do it.
Yep.
Oh, I get it. I'm just gotta have something to grumble about.
I know. I totally get that. And but if you're wondering, like, why don't they make it like that? And that is because, of course, they write
for all machines,
for all makes and models of machines. And I'm sure that at one point
somebody's machine said
or while they were testing,
yeah,
they had a machine and they were like, oh shoot,
that
this is
didn't work.
not gonna work.
That didn't
Why
work.
is this doing this? I know I have personally digitized a line before that I wanted to be like for that exact same purpose, and went to stitch it out and I was like, shoot.
Sugarfoot.
Yes. I
that's what you said, right? Sugarfoot?
Yes, that's totally what I said. it took me longer than, 10 seconds for me to realize what the heck the machine was doing and why it was doing that. And of course, I can only imagine, like, so I digitized the design. So I knew what I was trying to do.
Right.
And yeah, it was like, what in the world? And so, yeah, it took a little tweaking to get down. But I agree. It's definitely,
Tighter than I would prefer.
yeah.
So, and sometimes you think you've got that outside thread, and what you've actually got is the fraying edge of your fabric. And you're like, oh, oops, that's not what I meant to do. Right there. That is not thread, that is fabric.
I did put up some information on some of the tools that we are using. So Lisa's I did not put a seam ripper up there. I figured you had those.
Yeah. I bet most of them have something similar.
So Becky, if you look up digital, so if you go to our website, I did post a link. You might be able to grab it from the link, but if you do a search for digital dealer, you will find that. It is on our Shopify website. So if you go to LeabuSewingCenter.com, you'll see a little button on the left-hand side that says Shop with Me, which then takes you to our Shopify place. Or you can go to Leabu-sewing-center.myshopify.com.
So one tool that I would most definitely use at home that I don't have here open for the store is my chenille tool. And I love my chenille tool. It makes it so easy. And I actually really like to do this technique. I think it's fun and it's super simple. Instead of using my scissors, which I'm going to use here in just a second, basically it's like a little mini rotary tool that has a built-in guide so that you only cut the parts that you want to cut.
Yep.
So the step that we're going to do next is the step that will make the fuzzy ears. So I have lines that were stitched in. So I now have loose edges, and I know it's really hard for you guys to see. And I need to cut in between each of these lines. So if I had a chenilling tool, I would put the base of the tool in, and then you just push and it cuts to the other side. So the chenille tool just makes this really easy, and that guard on the bottom makes it so that you don't accidentally cut through your base layer of fabric. So it basically prevents you from making a mistake that unfortunately I've seen in classes many times, is people grab and they get their scissors stuck too far down and they end up cutting that base layer and then they want to cry.
Yes.
So we don't like crying and sewing because, we don't want you guys to work hard and then be frustrated. And I don't necessarily recommend that you do what I'm going to do here either, but I just want you guys to see. So we want to get through the 2 layers here, but not that base layer. All right. So basically we need to cut right down that center of each of those sections. And so we want to make sure that we still have a layer of white at the bottom there. All right. So if you don't already own a chenilling tool, I do recommend that you have one in your repertoire of goodies, because it definitely makes doing this way less stressful.
So, Becky, back to the design. It is on our Shopify website. If you do a search when you get to that website for digital dealer exclusive, what you will see is 3 different options. You will want to pick the one that says design, individual months design. And then when you click on that, it's going to be the January design. If for some reason, oh, good, you found it. I was gonna say, if you didn't find it, I could send you a direct link. So if you decide that you want that, you can go ahead and check out for it. Just as an FYI, if anybody hasn't already received the design yet, you actually will be getting the designs from Kimberbell. So what happens when you purchase the design from us, we will go in and we will give your information to Kimberbell, and then you will receive a link from Kimberbell. It takes about 24 to 48 hours at the max for you to get that. But if you do have an account on the Kimberbell website, it is loaded into your account. Okay.
All right. So pretty side of the pink fabric is going down. So we are creating something we're going to turn here. So you need to have the pretty side matching. So pretty side down, completely covering up what we've just done. You can tape if you want to. You already know I'm not gonna. And then it's going to tack that pink fabric down.
We're still using white.
Still using the white thread. You betcha. All right, I did not fuzz up. I did cut. You want to make sure that you cut. All right, but I did not fuzz up and make a big fluffy pile. I left it pretty well flat so that this step is super easy. I don't have a big pile of stuff in there that I'm trying to work around. All right. If you are following along, we are now at the bottom of page 6 in your directions.
So Becky asked if we are going to package a fabric kit for this design. Yes. If you do that Google search again for the digital dealer design, you will see that you can purchase individual kits as well.
Right along.
Yep. So that's in the kit version. So you can get the design, and then you can get kits. And Lisa's showing you part of the kit.
So it literally, this is the whole thing, and it comes with both of the hoops and the fabric to do both hoops with a bunny.
Yes.
All right. So once we have that, we can pop that right out of the hoop.
Cute. Throw the hoop. That's
Throw
a must.
the hoop at whoever you're sewing with.
I can.
There's one. There's two. We only need one.
We only need one. Okay.
I just, since we kind of have two going, I figured we might as well.
Yep.
All right. And in your instructions, again, we are at the bottom of page 6. We're going to remove that, and we're going to trim approximately 1/4 inch around. So I just have standard scissors. I am not using a rotary tool. I am just following that stitched line around. It does not have to be perfect. One, repeats with number 2. All right, get rid of all of that. Now that we have these guys here, we want to cut about every 1/2 inch or so. You don't need to measure this out. Just snip with your scissors. I'm starting right at the base, and I'm snipping up to the line, and then I'm just scooching my scissors up. And I'm going to go all the way around, and I'm going to do that on both of my floppy ears here. This is going to help when I go to turn it so that I don't have any big sections of fabric that don't want to be pushed out. So I'm not measuring. I'm literally just snipping. You do not want to snip through that seam. So just go up to it and move your way around the ear. And then repeat with the other one. I'm just going to do one so you guys can see, and then we're going to move on so that we're not taking up any more of your time than we have to. All right, once I get back to the other side, again, you need to do that to both. And just for kicks and giggles, we snipped one and didn't snip one. and it definitely turns better. You will have points that are not rounded because the fabric just can't push all the way out if you don't snip. So I do not recommend skipping this step. You will not be as happy. These guys are super cute, but you're going to have a little bit of a deformed ear if you don't snip. So please make sure that you snip. So at this point, we're supposed to turn these guys. So we're going to want to turn through. You're going to have white in one and you're going to have pink in the other. And you're going to be looking at this hole and you're going to go, are you freaking kidding me? How is this supposed to go through this? So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get the other end and get it kind of peeled apart and then push with a turning tool and literally push it through. So you got to get it started, and having nails could help, but it can also get in your way. So we want to get that started. So we're going to start at the opposite end than the opening and take a turning tool and push that up inside. And then we want to just keep going. And once we do that, that is way better than trying to get everything through here. So don't be super rough because you don't want to, oops, don't do that either. Slippery little sucker. All right. So just be nice and gentle, and we want to get that to come through. Once we get it through, we can then let go. Because again, you don't want to push all the way through and ruin all of your hard work, right? Because who wants to do that? So we're going to just keep working that through. Be gentle because it's a small hole, but it's going to go, I promise. And then take your tool and push out along that seam so that you get a nice edge. All right. And there we have an adorable bunny ear. Now, you're going to want to take a nail file or the end, if you have one of these guys, the rubber edges of those work super well. And basically we want to fray all of that fabric so that it looks all fuzzy like fur. So now we're ready, once we have both of those done, to work on the front. Okie doke. So that is hooping number one.
Hooping number one.
So hooping number two, again, this is fits in a, I know, right? This fits in a 4x4 hoop. We are using a 5x7 simply for your viewing pleasure. How about that?
How about that?
How about that? All right. So this one, you are going to bring in the bunny face portion. So we're going to have a circle with a bunny face. And again, if you did not already, you are going to need to prep your fabrics. So from your kit, you should have 3 pieces left. You should have 2 greens and 1 white. One of the greens and the white.
One of these things is not like the other.
Right? So 1 green and the white should have fusible on the back. The other green should just be your green. All right. So that is where we have left, is this right here. Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
All right. I haven't done this yet. So we're
right.
here we go.
So there is an outline of a circle. I'm going to assume that this is going to be the outline for the face.
Our this is going to be the background.
Okay.
This is going to be the background first. So we are going to use a tearaway this time. So the first time we were using a cutaway, which we had no show mesh. This time we are hooping a tearaway. All right. So make sure you have that in your hoop, and we can go ahead and stitch color number 1. It is going to give us our placement line for our background fabric, which is going to be
the fusible green.
Fusible green. All right. So
We have a circle.
we have a circle.
Mm-hmm.
What are we supposed to do with that?
I don't know. What are we supposed to do with it? I think we're supposed to put some fabric on
You think
top
we
of
should
it.
put some fabric down?
Yep.
I already turned that page. So, background fabric, and the background fabric is the one that we put the fusible backing on. So your green that has fusible is what we're going to be using, and we're going to completely cover that little guy up, and we're going to tack it down.
Or tape it down if you need to.
If you really feel the urge, you can
And
put some tape down.
We're gonna do.
We're gonna tack that down. Do not trim. So if you're ahead of us just a little bit, no trimming.
Got a lot of shaky going on. Oh, it's the bobbins. All right, and now we have a line.
We got a line.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first thing that we're going to do is to stitch bunny ear number 1 placement line.
Staying with white.
Staying with white is great. It does not matter what color. So just so that you can see it. I actually have.
Looks like his ear comes down quite a bit.
Um,
You got a little extra fabric?
I got extra fabric. We'll trim it off later, so I'm not going to worry about it. Dum-dum-dum-dum-dum. Some of that. So when we attach this, we want the pink to be up. I'm going to go over here. It's just a little bit easier.
Probably gonna need some tape for this one.
I will probably need some tape. So we have a base stitch line there. That is what we're really putting on that line there. So we're going to have that kind of lining up, and you want to have excess over the top of that. So if you are following a line, we're going to have the pink side up, and I know I'm in black and white, so you can't see any color, but we're going to go over a 1/4 inch over that line. So I'm going to slide this over just a little bit. So here's my line. We're going to be over, so in towards the center, about a 1/4 inch. And so if you remember, we have a decorative stitch here, and we want to have that at least at that line. So once we have that in place, we are going to tape your bunny ear in place. This is one of those times that I actually do what I'm told. Scary, isn't it? All right.
Maybe just a little.
Scary or what?
Surprising that you're doing what you're told.
Yeah. And then I do recommend that you center your ear on that line so that it's not like, we don't want deformed bunnies.
I
Right?
mean, you know, it's okay. It's okay to be different.
It's okay to be different. I don't think that it would be like super crazy drastic, but at the same time,
Do we want to put pink in?
Or
Or is it really going to get covered
it
up?
is going to get covered by the face fabric.
Okay, so we're okay?
We're good. So if you have something just to kind of make sure nothing's going to get caught under that foot, we're not, but that's okay. All right, once it is tacked down, we are going to get rid of the excess below.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, and I'm still going to leave that just so he's not totally in our way for the other side. And now we're going to repeat. Oh, I'm like, where'd my other ear go? I'm missing an ear.
You're going to tape your ear over there?
Sure. can do that. All right, again, we want the pink side up. We're going to center on that line, and we're going to tape that guy in place so that as it's stitching, we don't get any shifting.
We don't want a shifty buddy.
No shifty bunnies for us. All right, and I'm just going to make sure that he stays there. All right. 2 pieces of fabric left. We're going to get rid of our excess underneath the line. All right. I'm going to move my tape up here just to keep that, again, from popping up and getting in my way. All right. So if you are stitching along, our next color on the screen is going to give us a placement line down here for our face fabrics. Let's go ahead and stitch that. Staying in white is just fine. All right, so this is going to be that last piece of white, and you should have fusible on the back. That fusible will help with the color up at the top and any show through, and it should also help just with the strength of the fabric. So there's a lot going on here at the moment, so it's just going to help with the strength there. Keep my hands out of your guys' way so you can see a little bit. You know, you could tape this if you wanted. I'm sure you're all super shocked that I didn't. So next is going to be trim off that. So they do have you actually trimming at this point. And while I do that, I bet you can change the thread for me.
I'm pretty sure I can do that.
That would be lovely. I would love it if you would do that. So we're going to put black thread in. And while I am trimming, she's going to do that.
And I'm assuming it does not tell us to put black in the bobbin?
It does not.
Okay. So if you have a machine at home that sometimes spits out a little bit of bobbin thread when you do little itty bitty stitching, there's like some whiskers, so they're probably going to be like a triple stitch. And then the eyes, you might want to put yourself a black bobbin in. Of course, if you have a little bit of peak white that's showing, it won't be super noticeable because you do have white for your background. But sometimes that does happen occasionally.
All right.
He's so cute.
He is. So again, I've got my ears just taped down, not because anybody told me to. I just don't want them bouncing around and maybe getting caught somewhere I don't want them to be. So we have black thread in. We're going to do 2 eyeballs and some whiskers at this point. and clean.
I love a good triple stitch.
Right? I love licking my fingers and making things work. I really miss doing that for a year. Didn't realize how much I did it until I couldn't do it in public. It's like, oh.
All right. Now we are gonna do his whiskers or her whiskers. Do we know if this is a boy or a girl bunny?
Whatever you want it to be.
Are we gonna have a pair?
We are going to have a pair. That's right.
All right. So I've got some cute pink that we're putting in for the bunny nose.
Nose in the mouth. Get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Never noticed how much work it is on the nose. Not just me.
No.
Got my other ear almost done.
It's okay, Shannon. It's no fun to be on the phone dealing with
Oh, no.
that.
Mm-mm.
The good thing about this is when we're done, you can always go back.
You betcha.
And then you can fast forward through the boring parts if you want.
So ear number 4 is done.
You only need 2 per hooping, though.
I don't
But
know.
you do have enough.
We need 4. I think that would be fun.
We do have enough fabric in your kit that you can go ahead and make 2 of these. I mean, this face is so stinking cute.
I just
The
love the
nose
simplicity of
Even
it.
has texture.
Texture to the nose. I
Yeah.
noticed that when I went
So
and looked at the
cute.
colors and stuff. But I mean, how simple is that? But absolutely adorable. All right, so the next thing is a very simple satin stitch that we're going to do just right around the top of the
Want white again?
Yep. So we're going to put the white back in. And in case any of you at home are wondering, we stitched that with ES304, which is an exquisite made by Dime, pink number 304. The other things that we're using is literally just black and white. Nothing special about those. But just in case anybody was wondering.
Thank you.
Certainly.
I didn't pull that thread. Ooh, I thought it was gonna get. Did you think it was gonna maybe?
Yeah, a little bit.
Right? We're like jumpy. So if you're doing this at home, Lisa and I are both looking at this going, oh, you could really easily grab
that
the edges.
of the ears.
Mhm. So
Which is
take-
why I had those taped down, but it didn't grab them, but we both thought it was gonna.
Yeah.
So keep an eye on your foot. Just make sure that the foot is clear.
Yeah, you might want to have your hand near the start stop button when you're going close to that, just in case. Depending on the style of foot, it could definitely catch on that. So just pay attention. We were clear, but we were both wondering. It's definitely thick there.
Yes, it is. I wonder if I was supposed to slide them up a little more so they weren't as much. There's certainly fabric able to do that. You know, I mean,
right,
the
like
tails.
maybe closer to where there was only one
less layers,
2 layers or something.
Yeah.
All right, so now we have what it appears to be a decorative stitch for the outside.
So we need to now get
We need to get our ears out of the way.
ears into the center. So we need to tape these guys. So we're going to cross our ears, hide our eyes, and make sure that
You have the tape outside of
the tape,
maybe you should do one at a time.
maybe I should, because that's just not really helping a whole lot. All right, so you want a pile of ears in the middle, and we want to be clear of that mess. The other thing, of course, that we need to do is make sure that your foot is got clearance over here. So try to make sure the pile is as central as possible. Once we have that, let's see. I think white
this is going.
It's just going to be the lineup for when you put it in the hoop. So it doesn't actually show. It's where to actually place your hoop.
Oh, okay.
Is what that is. So I think white's fine. You can do this color literally whatever you really want it to be.
You are not using.
Do not put that in yet. Yes, thank you for pointing that out. That is literally done afterwards when you go to put it in the bamboo hoop for the last piece of fabric. We are not putting it in the hoop at this time.
So you could match. I mean, we might as well leave the white in.
Because we used white to begin with.
Right. But if you could also put the color of your background fabric in, so really whatever you wanted to.
But like, since we have the bottom white and everything, I would use white anyways, just from personal preference, but you could use different colors if you wanted to. This line is going to show you where to line up your bamboo hoop for when you're actually placing this in the hoop. This is what I'm doing, getting out a hoop.
Getting out the hoop.
Yeah, like that. Did it get tight over here?
It was a little close, so I just kind of smushed the bottom part of the foot was close to the base, so I just kind of smushed it right here.
Gotcha. So I bet you that would lie better if
They were pushed
they
out
were a little
further.
bit, just a little bit taller.
There you
And
go.
squish. Let's unsquish. All right. So what we're yammering about over here is this section right here. You can see there's a pretty nice size ridge. There is plenty of fabric there before we trimmed. It doesn't have the excess layers from the chenilling. And I think that if you slid that up just a little bit more, that would lie a little bit flatter and it would actually fold a little bit easier than what we ended up doing in this one here. So if you slid that up, you would actually have a little bit smoother. So where I was trying to get that stitch line right on there, I think if you have that up a little bit more when you go to stitch that, you will actually end up with a little bit smoother, smoother time and be happier with what you end up with.
Right. So that's all the embroidery that you have to do. And then you get to take your hoop. Your
So
little
again,
bamboo hoop.
you have to, they do come taped together, so you'll need to remove that. And then you're going to literally tear away your stabilizer. So just get rid of all of that. Okay, so now we have this adorable little guy and his fuzzy ears. He's got quite a tail there. Let's get rid of you. Okay, so we are now going to cover up here so that we don't see any of the stitches through the back side. That is all that's going to be. It's not attached in any other way. It's just going to literally sit there. So once we have that, we're going to put our ears there, and we're going to line that up. And this guy, so that is where the stitched circle comes into play, is it shows you where to place that original hoop line up. So I'm going to loosen that just a little bit more. All right, and we're going to, let's see, am I going to fit? Not quite yet, a little bit looser.
Feels awkward, right?
It is.
Since we hoop our fabrics the opposite
I know,
way.
I'm like, this is so backwards. All right.
Stellar's on the other side, Tony. It's the blue lid. Yeah.
All right, so once we have, we literally just need to push, and I feel like I'm going to break something, but I'm not. I'm just not loose enough there. There we go. Wow, you got to really loosen that screw, guys.
You really need your screws loose for this.
That's not a problem for me. How about you?
Nope. No screws too loose.
Yeah.
So on your screen, there should be you should be able to see a picture of your hoop, and it should tell you the size.
Get that nice and pushed in. So you can see I literally have that almost all the way open. That is really, and then you can retighten once you get the fabric in there. All right. And then once you have everything in place, you can turn that over and then trim off your excess fabric. So this is the only thing that backing fabric is going to be. It is not sewn into place at all. All right.
Cute.
So flip real quick. So we've got our adorable little guy here. You can play with these. I would assume if we pressed them a little bit and got a little crease in there, they would be a little bit more formed. And like I said, I think that I slid those down a little too far. And that's where that's given me a little bit more trouble to bend them. But that backing fabric, once we get that in place, tighten your screw and then literally just trim around there. And you are all set.
Yeah,
So cute. So cute. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining us for our first digital dealer exclusive. The first of many.
First of many cuteness is happening this year. So
Absolutely.
we will we'll be back
next
month to do this type of thing anyway.
again.
Something else, but
Yeah.
so next month is a Trapunto zipper pouch and
Pineapples.
it is pineapples.
It's cute.
I
It's
really think it's adorable.
It's a really interesting technique. So it'll be
it'll be
lots
something
of
a
fun.
little bit different, which is it's nice. It's not something that we see all the time. So that'll be fun. And we have 10-ish extra kits each month. So if you have a friend that just wants something extra or whatnot, we certainly can help out. At least as of right now, we have around that number.
Absolutely. So,
All right.
thank you guys for joining us. We had
will.
lots of fun making our floppy bunny ears.
Too cute.
Yep. You know where we're at if you need us.
If you need us, you know where to find us, because I guarantee we are always here.
we are, except for she won't be here tomorrow.
I'm ready.
Bye,
You guys have a good one. Thanks.